I wanted to briefly speak on some political things, um, very swiftly. Just some of the things I've noticed, especially within Israel. Um, you know, there's the narrative of how oppressive this system is, and how the crafty council is to keep us down, to keep us oppressed, to keep us from knowing who we are, to keep us from rising up. Um, and then there's a narrative now with Trump deporting people and kicking them out of the country. That there's now we like, hey, you know what, man? It's just awful that our brothers are being deported. Like, wait a minute. It's awful that our brothers are being deported from this oppressive system, from this horrific system that has us down. Like it's terrible that they being deported and brought. And salute to my brother Chris Briggs. Salute to brother Briggs, man. We did the lesson on. We did the lesson on like the social climate, first century. I want to say yesterday, but about did they lose their identity and just of that nature. A video based on that, and I was pointing out certain things in text. And one point was in Acts 18, where Priscilla and Aquila, or Aquila and Priscilla, um, they had met up with Paul, and they had just been they're coming from Italy. They had just been kicked out of Rome. It says Claudius had kicked everybody out of Rome. He deported the Jews, and they're coming from Italy, and he ended up meeting them. They had the same occupation and da 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 da. But Claudius Caesar deports the Jews out of Rome, and it's the same kind of when I start thinking about it, I said, man, it could be the same emotion there, where they're sad about being deported. They're dang, man, it was so nice. There was so much opportunity. There was so much freedom there. And now I gotta go back. I gotta go back home. I gotta go to Jerusalem. I gotta find somewhere else to go. Being that I don't even, like I said, I don't even think they were born in Jerusalem. I think they were born somewhere else. We went over there in the text though, but one was one was from Alexander, and one was born in Pontus. And I want to say Apollos was from Alexandria, and either Aquila or Priscilla was from Pontus. But they were kicked out. They were deported. The Jews were deported as a punishment, and they were probably whining. They was probably gnashing of teeth, just like it is today. I've seen Trump. They said they tried to take some Colombians back, 2 planes full of Colombians back. Colombians like, nah, we don't want them either. Go on back. We don't want them either. And then at one step, even outside of Israelism, like the FBAs, the Foundational Black Americans, and I forget what they call the other ones now. But a lot of Black Americans were mad about the Venezuelans coming in, and the provisions that they were getting. They were getting $9,000 checks. They were getting scooters, and they was getting this money for housing. I remember it was a big issue down there in Chicago. And then now Trump saying, hey, we getting these folks up out of here. Now jokers, the same people are like, no, man, that's wrong, man, getting them folks up out of here, man, and deporting these people. Man, that's wrong, man. You shouldn't be the. And you can't please these folks, man. You can't please people. In one instance, we want to play victim, and then in another instance, We acting like it's the worst thing ever to get deported from this great country. So at one point we were victims of the country, and then another one man, it's just terrible that they won't let people stay in this wonderful country that is and have the rights and freedoms of democracy. Man, they been here long enough. We hiding them, we praying for our brothers not to get deported from this wicked system, praying that they stay in this captivity because we feel where they're going is be worse. We feel wherever they deported, wherever they're going, is gonna be worse. And you think about that, going back to the Acts 18, where Aquila and Priscilla, and they're telling you that Claudius, they're headed down this way because Claudius done kicked and deported Jews out of Rome. Could they have had that same feeling, that same emotion? Could they have been upset about, being kicked out? Because they could have left. They didn't want to leave. This is a punishment. And if it didn't hold no value, how could it be a punishment? See, it held value. Being in Rome, being in that area, it held value. It was worth something. And that's how, he hurt the Jews. He wanted to hurt them. And by hurting them, he said, hey, you know what? The way he was going to hurt them is that I'm finna deport you out of Rome. I don't want you here. Get up out of Rome. And even the deporting, if you read the history, it didn't go well. We weren't getting up out of there like that. But some did, and we see Claudius, we see Aquila and Priscilla getting up out of there. But my reasoning for getting back on here and talking about that was, for that, just to show the similarities. Like brothers be saying all the time, nothing new under the sun, no, nothing new under the sun. But same flesh, probably the same emotions tied to it. And again, not that these people are trying to be American. These people that are begging to stay here, they're not trying to be American. They're not trying to leave their heritage of, their culture of being Latino. They're not going to come here and just, all I'm going to eat is hamburger and french fries. They're going to come here and they're going to cook, they're going to cook their culture's food. They're going to come here and they're going to, they may dress a little American, but y'all get what I'm saying. All right. Some of their kids may not speak Spanish like that, but they gonna want to teach their kids Spanish. They gonna work, you be seeing people, they have to battle with that. But a lot of Latinos have an accent to them. A lot of Latinos, a lot of foreigners, they have a certain accent. They just don't sound American like we do. Well, we ain't taught no other language but American, but English rather. And so our accent is a little different, but their accent is a little different because they've learned other languages. They've learned their culture. And so we'll have to look at that. Just look at the similarities. All right. And to me, it's kind of the same thing. Nobody's coming to America and just forgetting that they came from somewhere else. And I ain't saying no one. It's possible that somebody just never tells their people, but if they visit their grandparents, if they visit their mother and their father, a lot of times that they're going to get back to that heritage. They're going to know their heritage and know where they're from. Even some of the people that were brought in England, I seen this London rapper say that the difference between us and them, us in the States and them over there in Britain, is that they know where they're from. They know that, okay, I'm from Ghana, or I'm from here and I'm from here. And it's kind of shocked them that we just have no idea. That we over here, we have no clue. And we're not connected to it at all. We're not connected to that culture at all. But that's some of the issues, and again, some of the things that we can glean from, to try to add, speculate on how those things were back then. The deportation with the Jews out of Rome, and the same thing happening here today with the Native Americans. Some of the Native Americans getting caught up in it, and Latinos, and those in One West Israelism feel that well, a good chunk feel that the Latinos and Native Americans are Israelites, and that you see the same deportation out of Rome, and we're begging and crying today, and we're probably begging and crying and pleading to get back to Rome back then, probably hiding under people's beds and all of this foolishness, trying to stay in what we call this oppressive and horrible and great oppression that we're under, but at the same time begging and pleading and scratching and trying to do anything that we can um, to stay in this place. Pray this thing was edifying. Y'all be blessed. Shalom.